So I'm assuming all of us here have friends. I mean, why else would you be watching a video on a genre that fundamentally relies on human-to-human interaction? I'm also assuming if you have those friends, you've tried playing a co-op game with them. No, not that. Or that. Yeah. That right there, that's a real co-op game. But wait, what separates something like Fortnite from Left 4 Dead? Why is one considered a co-op game while the other is considered just another battle royale, even though it technically does have co-op mechanics? What actually is a co-op game, and what makes them good? Well, my friend, those are the questions I'm gonna be answering in this video. Good day, gentlemen and, gentlemen. What, did you think this channel actually had a female audience? No, don't be stupid. If you've been following this channel for a while, then you probably know I'm a big fan of co-op games. All of my footage is usually in co-op, and 3 out of the 4 good videos I've actually made are either on a co-op game or they have a co-op mode. The first thing we actually need to do is define co-op. Co-op is an abbreviation of cooperation, and according to the dictionary, cooperation is the act or practice of what the fuck? Cooperation is the actions of someone who is being helpful by doing what is wanted or what is asked of them. So you would assume co-op games would be about teamwork and helping out your team to achieve a goal. Look, it even has it in the trailer for Deep Rock Galactic. Well, this is false advertising. Fake news.
From her mother and put in a cage. I read about did you say want to a 10-year-old with Down syndrome?
The real goal of these games is to piss off your friends as much as physically possible by doing some of the most bullshit things. Like, are you a fucking retard or something? What made you think that I wanted a fucking boulder thrown at my head, you stupid piece of human shit? Okay, I need some time to cool off, so how about we talk about the humble and happy beginnings of these games, because I don't really want to get pissed at me remembering all of the bullshit my friends did to me. No, not yet.
What the fuck?
Rope.
Okay, break the rope. Oh, you bitch! You fucking asshole! In 1972, video games were virtually unheard of outside of arcades, until Atari developed a little game called Pong, which was released on the Magnavox Odyssey. I hope I didn't get that name wrong. This was the very first home console, and yeah, it may look ugly as shit, but it was a huge development in video games. In fact, it was so big that Atari said, yeah, more of that. So they started pumping out a bunch of sequels, such as Super Pong and Ultra Pong and Quadra Pong, and holy shit, why can't I find anything about these games? But you may be asking yourself, why is this dumbass talking about Pong? I came here to see traumatized spacemen and funny dwarves. What's the holdup? First of all, you don't have to be a dick about it, and second, you may not like Pong. But what about Pong doubles? Yeah, you see, that was all leading up to something. This game was the very first co-op game. There are games that focused on playing against other players, but this is the very first one that focused on teamwork. It even predicted the whole 4-player aspect of these games. Now, they might be on separate teams, but it still has to count for something. As technology continued to improve, we got better and better video games. And as you could expect, we got more with co-op mechanics, especially on the Wii. The Wii went pretty hard with this. Pretty much every single game on the Wii had some sort of co-op mechanic for siblings to play with each other. These games are commonly referred to as couch co-op games, which could be played on one console with multiple people in the room, which had this dumbass tether, which I still despise to this fucking day. And I'm gonna be honest, all of these games were good fun. You sat down with your sibling, you played for a few hours, and then you got off only to come back a month later because you forgot about the game. But the thing about them is that they weren't good co-op games. I remember playing co-op Skylanders with my siblings, and we were both there, and we had fun. But from what I remember, there wasn't any semblance of teamwork, which is kind of essential to a co-op game. No, instead they're just kind of there, doing some extra damage. Attached to me. Because of this dumbass tether. I'm not getting no for that. Now, this doesn't mean every game from that era didn't have good co-op mechanics. There definitely were a few that had some cool ideas. But the general trend was still to make a single-player game and throw in some bare-bones co-op mechanics so siblings could join in. Also, I'm mainly talking about the Wii here because I never owned an Xbox or a PlayStation, and you know what? I want to keep it that way. I'm not buying an Xbox for its one shitty exclusive, and I'm not buying a PlayStation to play an interactive movie. This shit doesn't even have a jump button. What the fuck? Fuck you, Nintendo's better, because at least they're creative with their games. Even if they're kind of a shitty company. But we're getting off topic. Just because a game has co-op doesn't actually make it a co-op game. When I say co-op, I mean a game that makes you fundamentally rely on other people. And I think the very first real game that was able to do this was a little game called Left 4 Dead. In my opinion, Left 4 Dead was the first real co-op game for a few reasons. 1. You can't play this game alone. Even if you're on single player, you're given AI teammates. You know why? Because it's impossible otherwise. You're always going to be relying on another player to revive you or get you out the clutches of Smoker. And that's important to these games. Despite what I said in the beginning with my teammates fucking me over, you do have to have some semblance of teamwork in these games. Reason number 2 is the 4-player online experience. Unlike most couch co-op games that use this stupid fucking tether, this game had either online play or split screen if you're on the Xbox 360. This wasn't the first game to implement these mechanics by far, but was the first co-op game to do it. This allowed players to act more independently, and at first that might sound counterproductive. Why the hell would I want to act independently? Shouldn't I be sticking with the team and helping them out? Well, no. No, you shouldn't. You small-brained fucking buffoon. With more control over your character, it actually allowed for better teamwork. You can split up your team to do different objectives. 2 players could be getting fuel while 2 defend. You can have some players target the tank while the others do something else. There's just a lot more you can do without this stupid fucking tether. Reason number 3, you can still fuck over your friends. I will admit a lot of couch co-op games did have this too, but I'm still saying it because it's my video. The ability to mess with your friends makes a co-op game 10 times more enjoyable. This is where games like GTFO fall off for me. There's just way too much focus on seriousness and actually getting the objective done that there's practically no way of screwing other people over. Hold on, hold on, I just need a check.
Team kill? Nah, I have a blunt weapon. I could have bashed him in the skull. What the?
Ah, no.
Oh, no team kill.
Shit.
That is so disappointing.
Whereas in Left 4 Dead,
Start filling.
oh shit, I fell down. Oh, great, Ellis just jumped away from me. Nice. He ran off. All of these things made Left 4 Dead the first real co-op game, and apparently other people thought so too. The game was so well liked that every single game with 4-player co-op was labeled Left 4 Dead inspired. Like, fucking hell, this article's trying to tell me Hunt Showdown is like Left 4 Dead. In what way is my extraction PvP shooter at all similar to Left 4 Dead? Besides the fact that I can invite 3 of my autistic retarded friends to the game. Okay, now that we've gone through the loosely strung together history determined by what I remembered when I was the ripe old age of 8 and the obscure sequel to Pong that I found on the Wikipedia, we can actually talk about what makes these games good. And a fair warning, I'm not going to be talking about Deep Rock Survivor, Sea of Thieves, Warhammer Vermintide, Warhammer Darktide, Ready or Not, 6 Days in Fallujah, Overcooked, Killing Floor, and yes, I will also not be talking about Helldivers 2. I know, it's a good game. I know, I've seen all the footage, I really wanted this on my fucking wish list, but it's $40 and I'm kinda running low on money. When you think of a co-op game, what do you usually think of? You usually picture a 4-player experience against AI, and the AI part is crucial. Most video games that you play are gonna be with 4 people, whether it be Deep Rock Galactic or Call of Duty. The majority of these games will end up being 4-player. Real human beings are unpredictable, so you usually have to whip up a plan on the fly, not knowing what you're about to get yourselves into. This sometimes will lead to good teamwork, but the majority of the time it comes down to the pure skill of your friends, with each of your teammates taking on one individual guy from the other team's squad. In co-op games, it's different. Since all of the enemies are AI, they're much more predictable, and it makes it a lot easier for you and your friends to coordinate an actual strategy. Payday 3 is a great example of this. Okay, yeah, I hear you. The game fucking sucks. But I can't use Payday 2 as an example, mainly because it's 90 gigabytes and I already deleted it, and it's not crossplay, and my dumbass friends won't build a PC yet. Sebastian, get on that shit. Okay, we good? Alright, like I was saying, Payday is a good example of this. Since every enemy is AI, it's predictable. It allows everyone to make a certain build to serve a specific purpose. You can have one guy that specializes in crowd control and hostage trading, to get you as much time in your heist as possible, while another guy specializes in turrets and puts them in crucial choke points that the AI usually goes through. And all of this is possible because of how predictable it is. In every single heist, you know what you're getting yourself into, and this kind of works to the game's detriment. With only 8 heists, this game gets stale really fast, and it doesn't help that the gun selection is a bit fucked, whereas in Payday 2, 78 heists, 11 heisters, 243 weapons. And that brings me to my next point. Co-op games need to be replayable. The reason why Payday 2 was replayable is because it had so many fucking heists that you could play a new one every single time. But for obvious reasons, this is a bit difficult for devs to replicate, especially indie devs, so they had to get creative with it. Games like Deep Rock and Lethal Company took the roguelike approach to replayability by having missions and moons but using procedural generation to keep them fresh every time, while Left 4 Dead uses a director to change the difficulty of the game based on how well you're doing, and it constantly keeps you in fear because you know at the worst possible time a tank's gonna spawn and ruin your day. Deep Rock Galactic does an especially good job at making procedurally generated levels. Every time you play this, you're bound to see something different. You can end up finding and clearing a patch of corruption, you can play a little Flappy Bird minigame to get some jet boots, you can hear the yells of a dwarf off in the distance and get trapped by wherever the fuck this thing is. There's just so much that you can come across in this game that makes every run unique. Another thing co-op games require is the ability to be the biggest asshole to your friends physically possible. And I don't think any game does this better than
In the last trailer, we blew up a cat.
Magicka 2 is a game that lets you piss off your friends in every way known to the human species. You can do the basic thing and just kill them, or you can actually be a bit unique by healing the enemies, skipping cutscenes, blocking their escape. There's so much you can do to fuck them over, and it's some of the funniest shit I've ever done in a co-op game. And you wanna know the funny thing about this game? It's a couch co-op game. You don't technically need another player for this game. The magic and co-op mechanics in this game are so well refined that it feels like the only way you can play this game is with friends. So I think it's acceptable to put it up here with the real co-op games instead of down here with all of the other games that have shitty thrown in co-op mechanics. A co-op game also doesn't need a lot of skill to enjoy. When I lose in a co-op game to something dumb, it usually sparks laughter within my friend group. But when I lose in Rocket League, why? Why the fuck is this game like it? And their whole team is on it. Fucking assholes. Kill yourselves.
Yo,
Insane comeback, insane comeback.
No! So good for the ball!
Yeah, you get the point. Co-op games can be enjoyed even if you don't know what's going on and you can't do anything of use, because it's not about winning the game. It's about making you and your friends laugh at all of the absurd stuff that happens. Lethal Company does this super fucking well. If you look at the actual gameplay, even with the procedural generation, it's the exact same thing over and over. Collect scrap for 3 days, sell that scrap, and repeat. If this was a single-player game, it'd probably fail. The thing that makes this game good is the co-op mechanics. The fun thing about this game is you and your friends getting yourselves in the dumbest situations possible. Okay, we can pick that one up.
Wait, do I abandon you once I get the hive in?
Maybe. They're going after you! They're going after you! Alright, I'm dead! I'm fucking dead! No! No!
I'm leaving!
And this is the reason why if a co-op game ever fails or stops being played by all of the big popular YouTubers, it doesn't really matter. I've seen a lot of people say that this game's a fad and is gonna go the same way as Among Us, and I just think that's a stupid fucking take. You know why? Because Among Us is a multiplayer game. Lethal Company is a co-op game. For this game, you only need 4 players to fully experience the whole thing. Even if this game is dead in the ground, buried 6 feet deep, as long as there's a group of 4 dumbasses out there who want to pick up this game, they can fully experience it with no issue. And I think that's something great about co-op games. They have the online functions of a multiplayer game and have the longevity of a single-player game. Co-op games are some of the most fun you can have because the experience is entirely shaped by you and your friends. So I guess that's the answer to my question. The people you play with makes the game good. Your friends can turn the most well-developed masterpiece into a huge rage fest, and can turn the biggest piece of shit into a memory that you'll cherish until you inevitably get dementia. That's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, you actually liked the content, or who knows, maybe you just had it on in the background. Either way, you can press that subscribe button, maybe the like button, maybe save this to a playlist, maybe show your whole family, maybe start a cult around me. You know, maybe you could do that. On a side note, I have a second channel. Haven't really done anything on it besides a shitty Payday 3 speedrun, but I do want to actually do something on it. I want to turn that channel into something making fun of games journalists. So, to do that, I actually need to find some shitty articles, and to do that, I'm relying on you people. I've made a Twitter. Over there, you can send me shitty gaming hot takes made by out-of-touch journalists. And another thing, another YouTuber by the name It's Tab just subscribed to me, which is actually pretty cool. Now, I don't have the screenshot because he said it on my comments under his community post that he deleted, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it. But he does the same content as me, video game essay style, and it's actually cool to have a bigger channel sub to me and actually watching my shit. So if you haven't seen him, go sub to him too, and yeah, that's it. See ya.